Hello students, welcome to your business studies class. So today we will be discussing steps in the controlling process, chapter number 8, controlling. So before discussing the steps in the controlling process, let's just quickly revise that what is controlling. Now controlling involves comparison of actual performance with the planned performance. If there is any difference or deviation, then finding the reasons for such difference and taking corrective measures or actions to stop those reasons so that they don't reoccur in future and that organizational objectives are efficiently or effectively achieved. So these are few steps in the controlling process. Step number 1, setting performance standards. Then after setting the performance standards, measurement of actual performance. So once performance standards are set, actual performance is measured. Third step is comparison of actual performance with the standard performance. Then analyzing deviation. If there is any deviation between the actual and the standard performance, then step number 4 will be followed, that is analyzing deviation. And then step number 5, that is taking corrective actions. So let's discuss these steps in the controlling process one by one in detail. Step number 1, setting performance standards. So the first step in the process of controlling is to establish the standards of performance. Now standards are the yardstick or criteria or target, we can say, against which actual performance is evaluated. So they specify what should be achieved. So they are the criterion against which the actual performance is compared. Now standards can be set in both quantitative, for example, cost, revenue, units to be produced, time spent in performing a task, etc., as well as qualitative, that is improving the goodwill of the firm, motivation, improving labor relations, etc. So whenever qualitative standards are set, an effort must be made to define them in a manner that would make their measurement easier, because we cannot measure the qualitative things. So whenever they are set, so we need to define certain things and how can we measure them easily. For example, let's say McDonald's fixed standards in times of let's say terms of time taken to serve a customer in order to increase customer satisfaction. For example, let's say that first initially they used to serve the order within 15 minutes. Now they want to improve it. So let's say that they are taking a time of 10 minutes. So in this way they can basically measure their qualitative standards. So they should be flexible enough to be modified as per changing or as per changes taking place in the business environment. So managers fix these standards in the list of organizational goals as they serve as the basis of control. So they should be set carefully. Now they should satisfy the following requirements, like they should be simple and easy to understand both for short term and long term. They should be achievable. We should not set standards that are too high. As far as possible, they should be set in precise quantitative terms so that it makes comparison easier. For example, in terms of profits, cost unit, reduction of defects from 10 in every 1,000 pieces produced to 5 produced in a quarter. It should be flexible enough to be modified when the need arises in view of the changes taking place both in the internal as well as the external business environment. The first step in the controlling process is to set your performance standards, which could be in quantitative as well as qualitative terms. Step number 2, measurement of actual performance. Now, once the standards of performance are fixed, the next step is the measurement of actual performance. It means evaluation of the work actually done and the results accomplished. So, performance should be measured in an objective and reliable manners. Now, measurement of work can be done once the task is completed or during the performance whenever it is possible. For example, in case of assembling task, each part produced should be checked before assembling. So there are several techniques for measurement of performance. Let's say we need to measure the performance of an employee. So it may require personal observation or preparation of performance report by his superior. Then measurement of company's performance, it may involve calculation of certain ratios like gross profit, net profit, return on investment, etc. at periodical intervals. Then progress of work in certain operating areas like marketing may be measured in terms of numbers of units sold, increase in market share, etc. Then if we need to measure the efficiency in production, then it may be measured by counting the number of pieces produced, etc. In small scale operations, each piece may be checked, while in large organization, this would not be possible. So certain pieces could be checked at random. So this is called a sample checking, and maybe we can have personal observation, performance reports, etc. So in this way, basically, we can measure the actual performance. Step number 3, comparison of actual performance with the standards. Now we have set the standards, we have measured the actual performance. Now we will compare the actual with the standard performance. So this step involves comparison of actual performance with standards. Such comparison will reveal the deviation between actual and desired results. So deviation basically means gap or difference between the actual and the standard performance. Comparison is easy when standards are fixed in quantitative terms. For example, performance of salesman in terms of units sold in a week. Now, it may be noted that if actual performance matches the standards, then there is no need for further action as everything is under control. But if there is a mismatch or deviation, then the manager find out the extent of such deviation, and then we need to follow the next steps. Step number 4, analyzing deviation. Now, some deviation in performance is expected in all activities. Whatever we do, we expect some kind of deviations. So, the next step in the process of controlling is to analyze the deviations. The deviation from the standards are analyzed to identify their causes. So, while analyzing deviation, it is important to determine the acceptable or permissible range of deviation and the key result areas, that how much deviation is permitted, how much deviation is acceptable, and the key result areas. So minor deviation should be ignored. Deviations which are beyond the permissible limit or the acceptable range should be reported to the management. So therefore, in this regard, manager uses two important techniques, that is critical point control and management by exception. So let's discuss these two important terms. First is critical point control. So it is neither economical nor easy to keep a check on every activity in an organization. So whatever, and these basically may have an impact on the working of the organization. So therefore, control should be focused on key result area which are critical to the success of an organization. So when anything goes wrong in these areas, that is the key result areas, the organization suffers. So therefore, deviation in key result areas of business need to be attended more urgently. For example, in a manufacturing organization, an increase of 5% in labor cost may be more alarming than a 15% increase in postal charges. Next is management by exception or control by exception. Now, there's a common saying, if you try to control everything, you may end up controlling nothing. So, therefore, only significant deviations which cross the permissible limit should be brought to the notice of the management. So, deviation within the permissible limit, that is, minor deviations, should be ignored because some deviation in performance is expected in all activities. For example, let's say Shinoy Electronic manufacturers ACs at most 2% of daily production could be defective. That means they have assumed, and the permissible limit is that 2% of daily production could be defective. So if defective production is up to 2%, it should be ignored. But if defective production is more than 2%, let's say 15%, so it should be reported to the management so that causes of such deviations can be identified and corrective actions can be taken. Now, there are few advantages of critical point control and management by exception. So these advantages are: first, it saves time and efforts of managers as they deal with only exceptional deviations. Then second, it ensures better utilization of managerial talent as attention is focused on important areas. It facilitates delegation of authority by permitting the subordinates to deal with the routine problems and insignificant deviations. And then next, it identifies critical problems which need timely action to keep the organization on the right track. Last step in the controlling process is taking corrective actions. So when the deviations are within the acceptable limits, no corrective actions is required. However, when deviations go beyond the acceptable range, it demands immediate managerial attention so the deviation do not occur again and standards are accomplished. Some corrective actions may involve training of employees if targets could not be met, assigning additional employees or equipments to the project, and permission for overtime work, etc. Where deviations cannot be corrected through managerial action, it means that plans are unrealistic, so plan needs to be reframed if they are overstated when performance can't be improved further, or understated when performance is higher than the standards. So if the deviation cannot be corrected through managerial action, the standards may have to be revised. Now, few examples of corrective actions. Now, causes of deviation may be defective material. The corrective action can be taken is to change the quality specification for the material used. Cause of deviation is maybe defective machinery. So corrective action may be to repair the existing machinery or replace the machinery if it cannot be repaired. Obsolete machinery, cause of deviation. Then corrective action, undertake technological upgradation of machinery. Defective process, so how can we correct it? By modifying the existing process. Defective physical condition of work, so it can be improved by improving the physical condition of work. So we have done today the 5 steps in the controlling process, that is first setting the standard performance, then measurement of actual performance. Once we have set the standards and measured the actual performance, then comparing the actual with the standard performance. So if there is no deviation, then no further steps needs to be taken, but if there is deviation which are beyond the permissible limit, then we need to analyze the deviation. Then in analyzing deviation, we need to basically set a criteria that what is our permissible limit or acceptable range through which the deviations can be taken care of. So if they are beyond the acceptable limit, then uh, the corrective actions needs to be taken. That is the step number 5, taking corrective actions. I hope you understood the topic. Thank you so much.